Yeah, but also
Yeah,
I think there are people that aren't 100% on board that Israel train on the Daily Wire. I think Candace Owens' issue isn't the Israel stuff; it's the weird Jew, Holocaust, anti-Semitic shit.
I think she's just too deep into the Jew shit.
Yeah, like when she was tweeting out a few weeks ago, like, who started porn?
And famous last words for a lot of people.
Destiny gets questioned over Ben Shapiro from the Daily Wire's feud with Candace Owens' freedom of speech and more in this clip from the Boys Cast, as recently Cuck Destiny made some pretty shocking statements on how he feels about freedom of speech, considering he wants people like Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, and others to be completely deplatformed. And it sounds like Destiny is also trying to justify war in this video as well. So let's see what Woke Destiny has to say today.
Just like, listen, you don't understand this right now, but you'll get it in the future. Because then, yeah, it's not like they turn 18 and now we can level with you and everything. People are too condescending sometimes, and they don't give enough space for, antagonistic thought to deal with it and then see people see it dealt with, you know?
Yeah, kind of, exactly. What do you think about Candace Owens versus Daily Wire feud?
I don't even know what's going on with that.
Really?
I'm always primed to. Well,
I
don't
know you debated Candace Owens sort of or whatever. That's why I thought you were.
Well, I don't think. I mean, I followed it, but I don't think anybody knows what happened. Right? That hasn't been made public yet because Candace keeps hinting that she was fired for some insidious reason. I'm guessing related to Israel or Jews.
Yeah.
And Ben Shapiro challenged
Seems like
her
it's
to that
kind
debate.
of true.
Well, it depends on what you mean when you say that. Because it could, for instance, it could be the case that Ben Shapiro and Jeremy came to a decision that they were going to let Candace go because she's parroting anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, which I think is reasonable. Or it could be the case that they got marching orders from the Mossad to get rid of Candace Owens because she's asking too many questions, which would probably that'd be horrible if they did.
No, I think it would probably be more like, you could even just remove all of it. You're just like, hey, we have a company with 6 people and we all kind of think the same shit.
Sure.
And then one person's thinking, all the exact opposite shit on what my cardinal issue is. Let's get rid of her. Mm-hmm. But the problem is you built your thing being I'm this free speech guy. So it's just straight up a pickle that you're in.
A little bit. I blame conservatives for that. When you talk about freedom of speech, you're talking about the government. That's what freedom of speech means. But conservatives for a long time have played a dangerous game of what about Section 230? Twitter shouldn't be allowed to ban anybody and blah, blah, blah. And now they've gotten themselves in this world where, rightfully so, they should be allowed to fire or hire who they want. That's not a violation of freedom of speech. But your audience has been primed to think that any time you fire somebody or any time you do anything relating to speech, you're violating a freedom of speech, which isn't true. But you've primed them to think that. So
that is true. And they just wanted to basically talk shit about all the trans stuff forever. And that's why they were essentially citing the freedom of speech stuff. And,
But there was sort of, because you tell me, because you probably know about this stuff pretty well. It is true that when you say freedom of speech, you mean the government, but there was sort of a culture of, you can't say anything that wasn't just because of the government. That so I feel like when people are freedom of speech and let's say they were talking about comedy or jokes you should be able to make or, what you should be able to say in a movie without getting in trouble. What is that then?
I mean, I think there is a principle, there is a concept of people should be allowed to say what they want in certain arenas and you should have the freedom to do so, but just you need to separate that out from the legal part. I just think that's important that they're two different concepts.
There's a legal part.
They're similar concepts, but the enforcement mechanisms on both of these are different. One is what should the law be, and the other is what should we push the culture to be. And I agree generally with the culture of freedom of speech, but it's not the law. You can't enforce that legislatively.
But they do have. So that's why I'm saying when people. It's in a pickle a little bit. It's same with Elon Musk having Don Lemon on and then kicking him off. Even if you're right, you're allowed to do that. It just looks like you're going against your principles.
It looks bad, but I mean, the reality is...
You are, though, right?
Well, I don't think so. Assuming, I don't know what they've all
Don
said in
Lemon
the
stuff
past.
bombed, but the problem is he didn't say, he goes, his interviews just do terrible numbers. Why would we pay him $10 million?
Well, that's not... He kicked him off before that interview.
Oh, yeah, right, that's true.
But I'm saying that
is true.
but for that, Elon has a right to allow freedom of speech on social media platforms, and he should champion that, I would hope. But that doesn't mean he has to pay people to work for him who have ideologically different views and then to disseminate that ideologically different point of view, right? He doesn't have to hire him as
I know it is weird.
Yeah, I mean, the New York Times or whatever, and or even NPR, we're talking about this guy didn't even say anything that bad, and they're you're suspended.
If it would be nice for me to start a media company in the future. I really want to, but when I do that, I'm not hiring the most diverse point of views. It's going to be stuff that I generally agree with.
Right.
I feel very strongly about freedom of speech. I don't think that you YouTube or Twitter or the government should like be restricting heavily freedom of speech without a really compelling reason, like child sex material or whatever, stuff like that. But when I go to hire people, I'm not going to pay a guy who's like an anarchist to talk about how evil like all government is and we should all go crops.
The question is, if you hire a guy that has similar views to you and then he starts leaning that way, at what point do you fire him? That's really the question.
It would depend on whatever the mission statement is of my company. When I feel like it's going in violation of that, I'd be like, this is not what we're here for. If you have a life-changing moment and you want to spend the rest of your days evangelizing everybody, that's not what I want on my platform. Like, go do that somewhere else.
Is that you have to be pro-Israel in the Daily Wire mission statement?
It might not be explicitly, but there's probably going to be some parts of like foreign policy that will encompass. That'd be my guess. Like if you're pro like super American interventionism all over the world, you're like America needs to go to war with every single country or whatever. I imagine that's probably not part of the Daily Wire's mission statement.
Yeah.
Or if you're going to be a total isolationist and you're like America should pull back embassies and bases from every country in the world, that's probably not part of their mission statement. So,
folks, can you imagine Destiny with his own media company? Oh my God. Like, I don't know if I could not watch it. I would almost have to watch at least some of it to see what kind of garbled nonsense he's going to put forth. And the other half of me just know that that's what a lot of it's going to be, and I don't even want to waste my time at all. But that would almost be scary to think. Let me know in the comments how you feel about Destiny owning his own media company. But I will also say, a media company, when he's talking about the mission statement, not implicitly, I bet a lot of this was also in CNN and MSNBC and NBC, everything that started to prop up, especially through the Obama days into Donald Trump, like, hey, our mission statement, who you can't say anything to, is to absolutely destroy Donald Trump, the right, anybody else who doesn't agree with us. Oh, and by the way, you don't get to have a divergent opinion. You have to say what we have to say. I wonder if that would fit his bill of quote unquote the mission statement, because now that mission statement is absolutely drowning it into the ground. Not to say Daily Wire is the same thing. I got my own critiques of them, Ben Shapiro, the rest of the group, especially how they handled the whole thing with Candace Owens. But I mean, he wants to talk about that's the worst case scenario. And that's all the stuff that Destiny has been following and filling his head with for years. Like that same woke bubble. So that's like the worst case scenario. And that's why I think, in my personal opinion, if you're going to say you have a media company, then it really should be a news outlet, meaning you have journalists, meaning we have no mission statement here. We just make news and we just get it accurate. That's it. We don't support anybody. We don't have any affiliations. We just get the facts. That's it. But my God, Destiny in charge? Oh my, that's going to be a shit show to see. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let's leave a like, get back in.
Yeah. But also, I think there are people that aren't 100% on board that Israel train on the Daily Wire. I think Candace Owens' issue isn't the Israel stuff. It's the weird Jew, Holocaust, anti-Semitic shit.
I think she's just too deep into the Jew shit.
Yeah, like when she was tweeting out a few weeks ago, like, who started porn?
It's been famous last words for a lot of people.
Which one?
I just say there's two things that have gotten a lot of people. You start getting really deep into JQ. You start getting really deep into race IQ. Those are the two. How many content people of like, that was, remember, you go, what happened to that guy? You go, you could pinpoint the day that he started getting all in on that.
But I wish people too, like, I think if you genuinely want to explore those topics, I think it's fine to do so. And I think you might even be able to get away with it. The problem is just that they don't ever actually explore, right? Like, I'll run into people in debates and the guy's like, I'm skeptical of the 6 million number. And it's like, okay, well, what do you mean by that? It's like, I don't know if I trust.
He says it's 10 million.
I don't know if I trust like all the stuff. Or it's okay, well, like, what have you read on this? Okay, well, nothing. Okay, well, like, what have you what have you researched on this? Like, why do you think, for instance, you don't believe the 6 million? How do they come up with that number? Well, I'm not sure, but doesn't it seem like a lot? It's like, well, maybe, or maybe it's not that much. How many Jews lived there before? Oh, I don't know. It's like, okay, so you're skeptical on a thing and you've got a lot of questions and you've been repeating these questions for like 6 months. Like, imagine I walk around New York City and I'm like, Ryan Long might be gay. I think he might be gay.
I've been saying that for a while.
I think he might be gay. He might be gay, isn't he? Like, do you really think he's straight? Do you really think? I mean,
sure.
like,
it's not
oh my
exactly
God.
Journalistic integrity.
Yeah, Jesus. Like, I say, hey Siri, show me a twink, and it brings up like this guy's YouTube page, right? Is he actually? But then you're like,
I go the other way around though? Imagine you said that, and you go, "Oh, Ryan Long might be gay," and then all of a sudden your YouTube channel gets taken down, and your Twitter channel get down. You might start being like,
"Yeah, wait,
what the fuck?
What does Ryan have his tentacles?"
Maybe he is. Yeah, true.
You can see why that would make people fucking like break their brain for now. You only talk about that. And you're like yelling in a well that I'm telling you this guy's gay.
And I understand what you're saying, but like I feel like we make way too many excuses for adults, and at least for political content creators, right? Like I can understand why a person might feel a particular way, but you should know better. Like there are going to be some things that are just such fucking hot topic things. If you don't deal with them carefully, like yeah, you're going to get banned because a lot of people feel ass mad about this thing. It doesn't necessarily mean the thing is true, right? It just means it's like
definitely there's things where you have to deal with them like crazy carefully, and
or it's like that. There'll be like the comedian quote. I don't remember who said this initially, but it's like, or it's not even. I think it's just like an edgy quote. It's like if you want to find out who rules you in society, find out who you can't make fun of.
Well, they say and
it'll show like a kid in like a wheelchair, and it's like,
so
well,
that's
like, this is my hero because I can't call this guy a cripple. Like fuck me, I guess. Right? Like come on.
That they attribute to that's like a big anti-Semitic thing, and that they attribute to Oscar Wilde.
Oh, do they?
But it's not. It's not. Oscar Wilde never said it.
I've seen that attributed to Voltaire.
Sorry, not Oscar Wilde. Voltaire is the one.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's it's but it's not. And like I think I can't remember who it is, but it's just like some guy who said it. It's like some dude. I don't know.
Dude,
It was nobody of
as
any
most
sort
things
of
are
importance, and
I guess Danny's mom rules me.
I get. I get that a lot. That specific quote.
What do you think is there a case for that America shouldn't be involved in do you think that like right now as we're talking about this, like there are people everyone online's kind of saying this is World War III, it's going down kind of thing. Like, do you think that there's a reasonable case to say that like America shouldn't be getting involved in this? Like, why are we spending money? If Israel wants to do that and you want to support, why are we funding this?
I think the issue is that when people analyze the future, they always think of it in terms of like either this could happen or this could happen. And they'll look at something like America could do a thing or we could not do a thing. And they'll look at all the bads and maybe even some of the pros, and then they'll look at us not doing the thing, and they'll be like, oh, okay, we should just not do the thing. And I think what happens is people get confused because they don't realize that the second option that you're evaluating, that's not actually what's going to happen. It's not going to be, should America do the thing or not going to do the thing? The question is, should America do the thing or should Russia do the thing? Should America do the thing or should China do the thing? Because if America steps back, there are going to be other people that are looking to exert their influence. And then your question becomes, who do you want to guarantee safe passage through the Mediterranean? Do you want it to be the United States or do you want it to be Russia and China? Like, who do you want to have that influence?
Couldn't you do this though? Couldn't you say we're not getting involved in neither? Are you guys?
Yeah, folks, I definitely would not trust Destiny and his media company to be any form of a champion of free speech, considering there's plenty of other people that he doesn't or think have an outlet to speak at all. Like, what was it? Yeah, Candace Owens, not quite Ben Shapiro, but Joe Rogan, a bunch of others. Like, there are certain people that he just thinks are bald-faced liars and should be canceled and not have a voice. So I don't think he's going to be really good on that front. And as far as foreign policy, I think Destiny far overthinks how much he actually really understands and knows. I mean, yeah, you can make that argument, whatever, but then, okay, we're still involved in a war by our own choosing. And hey, let other people's, terrible policies ruin themselves. All you got to do is chill in the back and be like, hey, we got you. You don't have to exactly be in it. You don't have to be forefront. You don't have to be the world police. But at the same time, if they see everyone else being aggressive and being bullies, I mean, it doesn't mean they have to exactly go along with it, as they are not doing as of right now. But you don't have to babysit everybody else, which is not our country's responsibility. But that's my opinion, folks. Let me know in the comments how you feel about that and what you thought about what Destiny had to say in this interview on the Boys Cast. I've never really seen this podcast before. Recognize these guys, though. They're all right. Thanks for watching. Take care. Like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.